As early as 8 a.m. today, hundreds of teachers from across the country converged on Belmopan for a march that took them from Comprehensive High School around the Ring Road and culminating at the Civic Center. Their message was loud and clear: stop the violence against women and in particular children who are increasingly victims of sexual abuse and violence. Senator and National President of the Belize National Teachers Union, Elena Smith, says it's not political but personal to teachers whose children are victims.
As we are saying, and as we continue to say, that crime and violence is everybody's business. And so this is not about B.N.T.U, but this is about B.N.T.U taking a stand on what has happened and showing our solidarity and support and telling the entire country that we are willing to join forces to ensure that we have this crime under control. We must be the ones then to show them the way. If we are going to be teaching them, then we not only teach them in the classroom, but we teach them by our actions as well. And so this is one way of teaching them that as citizens of this country, we must not tolerate nonsense and we must stand up against things that are not right.
Powerful testimonies were shared from the podium as several teachers broke their silence as domestic abuse survivors, some having been victims of rape. One Moscow teacher, Sharima Graham of Our Lady of the Way RC School in Ladyville, spoke of her life-threatening abuse back in 2015, prefaced by the recent rape of a pair of students by their cousin. She says she had to show up and speak out as a voice for her children so that others in similar situations are encouraged to say something.
My heart ached for them. And it ached for all the others that I've taught over the years, and I know that they have been suffering abuse, sexual, physical abuse. I wanted to stand up for my students. I know that they needed someone to stand up for them. I wanted to make sure that when I taught my babies, and I tell them that if someone touches you inappropriately, come to teacher. I didn't want it to be a lie. And if I sat in my classroom today while this rally was happening, I would have been lying to those students when I looked them in their faces and tell them, come to me, I am going to stand up for you. I am going to make sure that you're safe. And I cannot lie to those 5-year-olds that I teach every day. If management wants to take my $85, let them take it.
These traumatic experiences have adverse effects on the psyche, not only of surviving victims, but also their loved ones. 7-year-old Tyler Saver was murdered back in July 2016 in a double homicide in the Old Capitol. His mother, Shakira Young, says her faith has been tested since then, having made several attempts to take her life. Although she has found comfort that her baby boy is now her guardian angel, she still questions the mental state of perpetrators.
I sat many days and I asked who was to blame. Was it me? Was it the gunman? Was it the police? Was it the people who was around who refused to say that they saw? I could have blamed everybody, and for a while I blamed myself. Because I felt as a parent it was my duty to protect my child. I had days that I couldn't eat. I had nights I could not sleep. I attempted to kill myself twice. And that is a painful truth. And if it was not for God, I wouldn't have been here to speak to you guys today. I tried to fathom what it was like to walk up and see a child and I opened fire. I tried to think what was in that person's head to have him pull that trigger and end a child's life. Could he be sane? Could he be on drugs? Well, I mean, we have weed legal now. I stand here today and I grieve because if our children continues to die, our nation continues to die. If our children die, Belize dies.
Special Envoy for Women and Children Kim Simplice Barrow also addressed the gathering, saying that her office will champion for the safety of women and children. That includes the installation of trained counselors at the school and further work on legislation to prosecute perpetrators of these heinous crimes.
The Special Envoy for Women and Children, as a mother, as a citizen of Belize and of the world, it is so very important that we join forces, that all organizations come together to address these issues in a unified manner. We know today that government cannot do it alone. A couple years ago, we brought out this Good Touch, Bad Touch book, and we did a skit along with Niche to show children, to teach children, to educate children, to empower our teachers, to empower our parents. And those are some of the things that we have to continue doing. There's obviously, we have to work with our judicial system to ensure that proper management, proper case management happens so that these perpetrators can be persecuted.
Just after 1 p.m., the teachers then moved over to the steps of the National Assembly building, where day one of the budget debate was ongoing inside. Chanting for justice and an end to corruption, their cries did not fall on deaf ears. They were heard by PUP leader John Briceño and his area reps. Briceño says he supports the teachers' protest because he too has lost a relative to gun violence. He says the solution to crime is not political.
The initiative that the teachers have taken today is something that we should all support. Coming out to ensure that, to bring the attention of the issues that especially our children are facing, and that it is more than just words, but taking action. And they're demanding action from not only from the government, but from everybody, even ourselves in the opposition, and also community leaders, the churches, everybody. We need to stand up and to stand up for our children. They're the future of the country.
Duane, Moody for News 5.